This is Radio Nepal. I'm Dila Prasai with the news, the headlines first. Prime Minister Sherbahadur Deuba directs people's representatives to work in a bid to win people's hearts. Seat Allocation Task Force of ruling alliance agrees to present proposal for allocating seats in upcoming elections. Home Minister Balkrishna Kant says endorsement of prison bill will help tackle challenges seen in prison management. And Myanmar court convicts deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi in corruption cases, adding 6 years to her prison sentence. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister and Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Deuba has directed the people's representatives to work in a bid to win the hearts of the people. Inaugurating the two-day orientation program to be given to the people's representatives elected from the Nepali Congress, Prime Minister Deuba said termed local levels were the first school of democracy. The Prime Minister further said a leadership with competence and vision should be elected right from the local level to strengthen democracy since its foundation. Prime Minister Deuba said that he became the Prime Minister under special circumstances and mentioned that important achievements had been achieved during this period. The task force formed by the ruling alliance to allocate seats for the upcoming elections has agreed to present a proposal in the next meeting. After the meeting held at Balwatar yesterday, task force member and Communication Minister Gyanendra Bahadur Karki informed that the task force was preparing to divide the seats among the ruling parties based on the results of the previous local, provincial and federal elections. Minister Karki added that the task force would finalize the seat allocation at the earliest after discussing the proposal in the next meeting. Prime Minister Sherbahadur Deuba has stressed the need for protecting and promoting the country's art, culture, history, philosophy and literature to promote its international identity and recognition. Inaugurating the 37th meeting of the Academic Assembly of Nepal Academy in Kathmandu yesterday, Prime Minister Deuba described art, culture, literature, philosophy and sociology as the national treasures featuring the distinct identity of the nation. Prime Minister Deuba placed the government's support to continue such efforts in future. On the occasion, the Prime Minister launched the Nepal Academy's e-book app. Likewise, Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Jeevan Ram Shrestha on the occasion commended the role of the Academy for providing academic leadership and promoting Nepal's pride in the international arena. Home Minister Balkrishna Kant has said that the government is working to develop the physical structures of the prisons across the country by managing basic facilities for inmates. During a meeting of the Law, Justice and Human Rights Committee yesterday, Home Minister Kant said the efforts were being made for managerial reforms of the prisons throughout the country. The Home Minister added that new prison buildings were being constructed at 4 different places and the budget was allocated to construct 8 more prison buildings in the current fiscal year. Home Minister Kant said the endorsement of the prison bill that is under consideration in Parliament would help tackle the challenges in the management of inmates. A meeting of the Central Security Committee has decided to form a central command post under the convenership of Home Secretary Teknarayan Pandey for the upcoming provincial and federal elections. The meeting was chaired by Home Minister Balkrishna Kant, discussed matters of election management preparation, election security plan and mobilization of security of human resources mobilization. The decision to form the command post was taken after discussing the necessary security strategy and the challenges that might come up in course of the upcoming elections. Home Ministry spokesperson Phanindramani Pokhara said the meeting also decided to constitute the Central Joint Election Cell under his convenership. Minister for Education, Science and Technology, Devendra Paudel, has said the Education Ministry does not have any pending bills related to education. Speaking at the Education and Health Committee of the House of Representatives at Singh Durbar yesterday, Minister Paudel said efforts were being made to bring Federal Education Bill within the term of the Federal Parliament. The minister added that the Federal Education Bill would be brought from the National Assembly if the current term of the House of Representatives ended. During the meeting, lawmakers stressed the need for bringing the Education Bill at the earliest to address the problems seen in the education sector. Nepal has reported 888 new cases of COVID-19 in the past 24 hours. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the number of cases was detected while testing 5,737 sample tests. There are 5,387 active cases across the country. Likewise, 474 corona-infected people recovered from the virus infection yesterday. Meanwhile, a corona-related death was recorded yesterday. The 39th edition of the month-long joint training called X-Balance Nail between the Nepal Army and the U.S. Army is starting from today. According to the Directorate of Military Public Relations and Information, the joint training exercise will be conducted between the Ranger Battalion under the Singh Mahavir Planning and Coordination Division of the Nepal Army and the U.S. Army contingent from August 16 to September 15. During the joint exercise involving 80 members of the Nepali Army and 16 members of the U.S. Army will focus on law enforcement and military decision-making process in a conflict setting. The training will be held in Chhaoni and Nagarkot area. You're listening to Radio Nepal 8 AM English News Bulletin. We continue with the international updates now. A court in Myanmar has convicted deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi in corruption cases, adding 6 years to her prison sentence. She already had been sentenced to 11 years in prison on sedition, corruption and other charges at earlier trials after the military deposed her elected government and detained her in February 2021. 77-year-old Suu Kyi was convicted of misusing funds and leasing government-owned land at the discounted rate. Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto has been declared the winner of Kenya's presidential election amid dramatic scenes. He narrowly beat his rival Raila Odinga, taking 50.5% of the vote according to the official results. The announcement was delayed amid scuffles and allegations of vote rigging by Odinga's campaign. 4 of the 7 members of the Electoral Commission refused to endorse the result, saying it was opaque. Odinga's party agent earlier alleged that there were irregularities and mismanagement in the election. This was the first time Ruto 55 had run for the president. The 77-year-old former Prime Minister, who got 48.8% of the vote, was running for the president for the 5th time. Now the general weather forecast for the country for today. Forecasting division says the weather is likely to be partly to generally cloudy in Province 1. Madhya Province, Bagmati Province and Gandaki Province, and partly cloudy in the rest of the provinces. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is likely to occur at a few places of Province 1, Madhya Province, Bagmati Province and Gandaki Province, and at 1 or 2 places in the rest of the provinces. Kathmandu's weather report now. Maximum temperature of 29.5 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature of 19.5 degrees Celsius. With this news, we have come to the end of this bulletin, but before we wrap up the headlines once again. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deoba directs people's representatives to work in a bid to win people's hearts. Seat Allocation Task Force of Ruling Alliance agrees to present proposal for allocating seats in upcoming elections. Home Minister Balkrishna Kant says endorsement of prison bill will help tackle challenges seen in prison management. And Myanmar court convicts deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi in corruption cases, adding 6 years to her prison sentence. Well, that's all that we have for this edition. Our next English news edition is at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website, www.radionepal.gov.np for more news and online programs. Stay tuned, stay safe, and have a good day.